if you've made it this far, you're probably wondering why Homegrown Hotspur is ending. Here's why. The viewership on Homegrown Hotspur, on the whole, is dwindling. It's dropping, and I don't know why. I don't know whether it's because people aren't enjoying it, whether YouTube has changed its algorithm once again, whether my videos are being reduced because occasionally I swear and include penis references. I mean, who doesn't include penis references? Insane people that don't include... Never mind. We'll move on. Whether it's a multitude of reasons, but ultimately it's not being watched. Now, don't put me down as a money-grabbing whore. I make bugger all from YouTube. I do it for fun. All of my equipment is bought with my own money. Shout out to the Patreon people. Yeah, that's a joke. It's a joke! Jesus Christ. I started off the save with the conscious idea of creating content every single day. And the format that I was using enabled me to do that, kind of. I was still really rushing around trying to get things out every day, and I very rarely made it either every day or at least on a consistent time, which was what I planned to do, because YouTube seems to really like the fact that people upload on a regular time and on a regular schedule. For goodness sake, hiccups at this time. But I failed to do so, and quite frequently have failed to do so despite my best endeavours. So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll move back to more of how I was creating content previously, which is spending a little bit more time on the creation of that content, whether it's slightly different editing, doing the intros, doing a whole manner of things. And obviously I've recently added After Effects into my own repertoire, which I haven't used templates. I've created them from scratch. And if anyone who has used After Effects themselves properly, not using bloody templates, that's cheating. That's using someone else's work and just dragging and dropping images. Sorry, it just is. I made the conscious effort to try and bump up the level of production, but ultimately it takes me a lot of time to do that. And my typical After Effects, for those of you that have watched Homegrown Hotspur that are watching this now, the lineups that I've done, 10 hours that took, because obviously I'm learning as I go. Everything else is I spent probably 40 hours just on creating the template part of the After Effects stuff. It's an absolute time sink. I have this niggling thing in my head called my creative conscience, which basically keeps on telling me, you've got to stop doing the simple videos. You need to try harder. You need to do more. You need to bump up the production quality. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to try and make yourself known and be different from everyone else. It's really kind of hard to do that with something like Football Manager, that I'm beginning to realise. But every so often, I have that, I know, I'm going to bash it out. I just want to do content every single day, but I need to do it a way I do it. And then, as soon as I'm happy with doing that, my head will just start eating away at itself and decide that, no, I need to do silly editing stuff and waste time doing it, so I only get an episode out a week, because I spend the rest of the week in the time I'd either be recording or doing... Typically, the way I was doing things at the start of Homegrown Hotspur would take me 2 hours, roughly. 2.5 maybe if you include the YouTube admin. Now it takes me 10, maybe more, to get one video done. One. And the reason why that's a bad thing is because of YouTube's preference for sort of regular content uploading. But also, it ruins the engagement for the save, not just for me, but for you guys obviously as well. I end up playing the Tottenham save for 2 hours a week at the moment, as it is currently. 2 hours a week. The rest of that time is spent editing an episode together. So my engagement in the save is completely gone, because I'm only getting an hour a week, whereas before I was playing at least 10 hours, if not more, because I could afford to do it. I had the time to be able, because I wasn't spending that same period of time editing. I'm one of these people that really strives to push the quality of their content, and this isn't meant to sound like I'm having a go or besmirching or insulting other content creators. Whichever their method is, it works for them. But if I've got a slightly shaded part of my green screen because my lighting is slightly off, that does my head in. And so I will edit it as much as even if I had to go frame by frame by frame. And for those of you that aren't content creators, you won't necessarily understand what I'm saying. But if I have to adjust the chroma key so I can each frame to get rid of that horrible bit of green, I'll do it because it's not as perfect as I could make it, and it's not the standard that I want to keep it at. Like I said, it's not a go at other people who use green screens or anything like that. It's just, that's my head nagging away at me. It's myself. It's really, really annoying for me because I see other people like really blowing up, and I don't need to mention them because you know who they are. And well done to them, because they've got a formula and a format that really works for them and that they're comfortable with. I thought I'd found that, and then my head has a go at itself. With the theme of time, I need to be more economical with it. I need to get more out of the amount of time I have. I'm going to be moving house soon, so I'm going to be needing to dedicate time to that as well. So the time I do have to record something and then edit it, I need to make the most of it. Ultimately, I can't keep up with my own demand for what I want to do with that particular save, and so I would rather end it than see the quality of the content drop off a cliff. And also, let's say, my own engagement with the save isn't there, and I don't want that to start coming across in the videos, and I don't want to seem like I'm being false and reacting falsely to things because my heart's not in it, in that particular save. Now, before we move on to the next part of this, which is the plan moving forward, I just want to say thank you so much for investing your time in me. For every one of the subscribers that I have now, everyone who's watched any one of my videos, and particularly those of you that have watched almost every single one. From day one, I want to say thank you so much for spending your time with me. Although, yes, it's a virtual me, but you're still spending time. And I want to apologise as well for not responding to as many comments as I should do. I really pushed myself to try and answer all of them, but I've been lazy, and I'm sorry, because you've taken the time to watch my content that I've put out, and I've not done you justice in that you've picked out a bit of something that you found interesting in that video and commented, and you've taken the effort to comment, and I've not returned the favour. So I'm really sorry for that as well, because the interaction is something that I really enjoy, but I've not been keeping my end of the bargain up with that, which neatly moves on to the plan moving forward. So the plan then. For those of you that have already seen the last episode of Homegrown Hotspur, you'll know what's happening. On Monday, the 29th of May, which in England is a bank holiday, at 7 PM, we will be streaming the Champions League final between Tottenham and Real Madrid live on Twitch. If you can't make that, do not fret. That will be uploaded onto YouTube in a condensed format. Once I've done it, maybe on the Monday. It might be late on the Sunday, but either way, it will be up there very sharpish. After that is finished, the save will stop. What I would like to do, and I did mention in the last episode, I would like to sim ahead to see how our youngsters do, particularly the youth players that have just come through in the last season, because they've like 4.5, 5-star potential. And people in the comments have said that they want to see how well they perform. And obviously I want to see how well Harry Kane does. Yes, it won't be under my managership. It'll be interesting to see how Tottenham change without like my self-imposed Brexit stuff. And obviously, once Brexit actually happens, see what Brexit they get. Because if they get a hard Brexit, well, they're sorted and they'll become champions. I'm sure of it. Maybe not. But after the Champions League final is done and dusted, we'll be moving on to a brand new save that will be predominantly on Twitch, but it will also be on YouTube, so you will not miss out if you don't have time to watch Twitch live, or you just don't want to sign up to Twitch, or you don't like Twitch, whatever. But it will be on YouTube as well. So I'm going for a two-pronged attack with this one. So I know what you're going to say, how you're going to have the time. I've made the conscious decision that because it's on Twitch, it's kind of difficult to have a lot of production value like I had done. And so I'm hoping that will calm those demons that sort of tend to rise inside of me. No, not that. Filth. Disgusting. Those of you that don't know what the Diffuse Challenge is, it's been on the SI forums for absolute yonks. We will basically sim a new save, starting probably on the latest database, I'd have thought, because that makes sense. sim for an entire season, see who gets promoted from the regional divisions to the Panorama North and South. I think there's 4 teams we have that might get promoted. It might only be 2, I'm not sure. But either way, those who are present in the stream at that time will get to choose who we are. Now, I'm hoping Kettering Town are in that list, because that would be the dream. Being able to manage Kettering Town, it's the town I was born in, that most of you who watch these regularly will know anyway. So my genuine hometown club, that would be quite nice, because you basically pick the lowest reputation team you can find who's just been promoted, and then you get, well, the task is to get promoted through the divisions. I'm not sure if it's in consecutive seasons or just as quickly as possible. I think it's one of those two. I need to really check. I should have checked the rules before I did this. I should have checked the rules before I started doing this. Idiot. But ultimately, your goal is to get promoted right up to the upper echelons of the Premier League, win the Premier League, and I think maybe win the Champions League. I'm not sure what the pinnacle of the challenge is, but either way, it will be a long-term challenge. But I have imposed on myself a Twitch schedule. So at the very least, I'll be playing Football Manager for 2 hours every other day. So Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays and Sundays, I will be playing and streaming Football Manager on Twitch from 10:30 PM until 12:30 AM or roughly. I'm probably do impromptu streams as well, but that is going to be like my bread and butter from then onwards. So it gives me time the following day to pick out a match from that bunch. Bit of editing, not much, but you know, top and tail it with an intro so you know what's gone on, so you can still feel part of the save even if you didn't get to see it live. And that'll be uploaded to YouTube. But that won't be me done on YouTube. No, not at all. I just want to become a bit more, I suppose, casual about how I create content, and that's what I wanted to I'm sort of justifying to you and myself as to why the production value may drop slightly. Hopefully not too much, but I just need to make it simpler for myself, and by sort of constraining myself to having to live within the constraints of Twitch, it kind of removes that conscious niggling, hopefully. I will be also doing other stuff, so I've got a few experiments up my sleeve that I've planned and sorted but not yet recorded. I've also got a few other videos up my sleeve, namely to do with like computery bits. So I've got another planned Blackburn Rovers video, because that one went down an absolute storm, and that was really good fun getting my thoughts out there about the current situation. It's quite a big juicy topic in the lower leagues of football now, goodness me. But in preparation for that Champions League final, of course, what you should be doing is going over to my Twitch channel, which is linked in the video down below and on the main part of the channel. So there's no excuses if you want to see it. Go over there, click the follow button if you haven't done so already, click the notify button so you get notified of when I'm live, even though I've already told you, 7 PM, Monday the 29th of May, 2017. Before I end this then, thank you again so much for watching me for the past nearly 2 years, year and a half at least. It really does mean a lot. This is why I didn't want to just tweet out randomly, because you can't convey emotion and genuine feeling in words, and 140 characters to get across what I've just said in this however long minute video, because I haven't edited it yet. I want to sound sincere. I am sincere. I've just undermined everything I've just said. Well bloody done, you penis. That brings us to the end of this video then. If you have enjoyed it, or at least watched it to this point, drop a like on there for me. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, and also head over to the Twitch channel, click follow, click the little notify bell next to it. I think it's a bell. Is it a bell? Probably a bell. But do that as well, so then you know when we are going to be live, not just for the Champions League final on Monday, the 29th of May, 2017, Bank Holiday Monday, 7 PM. So I've said 7 PM twice, good, it's 7 PM. But also for the subsequent content that's going to be over on Twitch. Okay? Just also so your expectations are managed to the nth degree, because I'm moving house, there will be a bit of movement after the initial week of streaming. Once that's back and rolling, we'll be back to normal, okay? So give me a bit of breathing space. Anyway, that's enough from me today. I'll see you very soon. Thank you once again. Goodbye.